Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got some huge Mopar news this morning. I got a press release from Chrysler. I wrote about it on Mopar Insiders, and I've seen quite a few people talk about it. So I figured I'd jump on here and give my 2 cents and whatnot. But I got a press release this morning from Chrysler, a 3-paragraph one, saying that effective June 1st, Tim Kuniskis, who's the Ram and Dodge CEO, is retiring. It's kind of funny because today is May 17th, so it's like right around the corner. Kuniskis, who's been kind of the face of the company on the North American side, it's kind of weird that he is leaving. But it doesn't surprise me because there's been a huge amount of people in management positions leaving the company. Coming after Stellantis has been laying people off, like 400 engineers here in North America to move their jobs other places around the globe. We've seen that they're under fire from the Italian government from laying thousands of people off there and not producing Italian brands there anymore, like several Fiat vehicles. We've also seen them come under fire from the UAW because they just laid off 199 people at the Sterling Heights Assembly Plant here in Michigan that builds a Ram 1500. They also, after ratifying their contract with the UAW to bring in all their temp workers as full-time employees, decided to fire most of those temp workers. So it's just been like chaos for like the last several months. So yeah, it's no surprise Kuniskis is leaving. I've seen being in Michigan and being in Detroit, I know a lot of people that work at the company. Again, a lot of people are in management positions are leaving. We've seen people like Jim Wilder, who was one of the main SRT people. He was the one that was head of the Demon 170 program. He left. He ended up going, I think he doesn't even work in the auto industry anymore. He works for General Dynamics. So it's just a huge thing, but Kuniskis is by far the most high-profile person to leave the company. He's still young. I don't know if he'll go elsewhere to become a CEO, which is more than likely because Manley's done it. Mark Stewart's done it recently. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kuniskis continue his automotive career in a different CEO capacity with a different company. But he's had a pretty amazing 32-year career. And I just wanted to go over some of the highlights of his career. He's been working with the company since 1992 when he got out of college. In 1993, he actually went down to Orlando and ran their sales and dealer center out of Orlando. He did that for several years, became head of their Midwest Business Center, and basically that pushed him into a position in Auburn Hills where he became Chrysler's marketing director in 2009. And that was at the point when the company was getting really bad and Sergio Marchionne came in to fix it. In 2011, there was word, Sergio said, hey, we're going to push forth with bringing the Fiat brand back to the U.S. And at that time, Tim basically was tapped after there was a huge scandal with the CEO that Sergio put in place. The CEO of Fiat, the original CEO of Fiat North America, was dating or caught in an inappropriate relationship with the head or the CEO of the ad agency that Fiat was using at the time, and that caused a huge amount of chaos. So she was fired. Tim was put in her place as CEO, and from that point on, Tim went on to lead Dodge in 2014, basically taking over for Ralph Gilles, who at the time was not only running Dodge, but he was running the SRT Motorsports, and he was running the whole design program there. So Tim couldn't have been a better person because Tim's a huge muscle car guy. I've talked to him before about him growing up in New York, and he was talking about how he had a Trans Am. Before he was even CEO of Fiat, he had a 1971 Dodge Challenger RT, which he used to cruise Woodward with, which was really cool. But he's been a huge car guy way before he was even with the Dodge brand. So in 2014, he took over Dodge, and it was not even it was about a year later, and Sergio Marchionne basically told him, hey, I want you to take over all the passenger car brands. So he was the CEO of Chrysler, Dodge, Fiat, and SRT. And at that time, not only was he the CEO, but he actually got promoted in the company to become part of the global group executive council for all of FCA. So that means he was at the top level of management for the company. So basically, he was one that on the board, making sure that different changes and stuff were going through him and others. So that was a huge step up for him. In 2018, he was tapped to become the global head of Alfa Romeo. So he dropped his passenger car role position, went to become the global head of Alfa Romeo and also Maserati. That summer, Sergio Marchionne suddenly passed away, and Mike Manley, who was the long-term CEO of Jeep, was tapped to be his successor. So Kuniskis also became head of Jeep North America. So in 2018, he had 3 different roles, and he was still CEO of 3 different brands. If that wasn't enough for you, in 2019, he was brought back to basically take over the passenger car brands. So he led the passenger car brands again, and that was right when Stellantis started deciding to do the merger, or not Stellantis, but FCA and PSA decided to merge. So in 2021, when it became official, Kuniskis became the CEO of Dodge alone. So that was kind of a thing, but he also lost his board membership. It wasn't until 2023 that Kuniskis was also tapped to become the Ram CEO after, for some reason or another, Mike Koval Jr., who was doing an excellent job with Ram, was kind of pushed to the side and put in as the head of Mopar. So Tim took over that role. So as you can see, Tim's got a huge portfolio of what he's done with the company. He's been shuffled around pretty much everywhere. He's done every kind of CEO role possible. So he's a huge face for the company. So I highly doubt he was fired. Now, the interesting thing about all this, and I don't want to talk too much about this right now, but they did announce who was going to replace Tim. For the Dodge side, it's going to be Matt McAleer. Matt McAleer is right now, currently, he's the director of their marketing for Dodge. He's kind of been, I've met him one time. He seems very positive. A lot of people tell me he's more of like a younger, enthusiastic Kuniskis. So I think Dodge is going to be fine. Him not being a CEO of anything before, they kind of split Kuniskis' roles up, and they gave the Ram brand to Christine Fuel, who's the head of the Chrysler brand. Now, Chris Fuel's a nice lady. I've met her too at the launch of the 300C, but I don't think she really knows how to be an automotive brand leader or a CEO. She comes from different automotive suppliers. She's been with the company for 2 years, and there really hasn't been a huge push in the Chrysler brand. Instead, now they're down to 1 vehicle for 18 months. She had basically an electric vehicle with the airflow concept given to her that would look production ready, and she didn't like the styling, so she canceled that. And even though we'll still get the base of the airflow, it will be the same in the new product, we're getting another vehicle that has been pushed back a little further to have different styling. We've seen her basically introduce the end of the 300C or the 300 series cars. These are her highlights of her career at Chrysler. So basically introducing the end of the 300 series. She's introduced an autism option for the Pacifica minivan. And she's also introduced a special edition road tripper model, which is basically a Pacifica S with orange highlights. And recently she introduced the Halcyon concept, which is her in the design studio's direction for the next design language for Chrysler, which in my opinion looks nothing like a Chrysler. It's so far out there, it doesn't make any sense to me. And hopefully this week I will be able to see that vehicle in person. I think it's going to be at the Stellantis Cars and Coffee event, so I'm going to be able to see that for the first time. So maybe my mind will change, but I don't see any Chrysler design influence in it at all. But I don't think she knows anything about pickups. I think she was tapped because she really doesn't have much going on right now, because for her bringing an all-electric portfolio to the Chrysler brand, it doesn't look like there's much going on now. So I think she's tapped probably as an intern person until they find somebody that really knows how to run the Ram brand and that knows pickups. So that's my biggest concern about all this, is who's going to be leading the Ram brand. But again, Kuniskis, I doubt he was fired. I think it's just him getting away from the company while he can. And I think he'll probably end up being somewhere else, leading some other automotive supplier or something like that. I think he'll be doing well because he's still young. He, again, a 32-year career at Chrysler, probably one of the best resumes that you can have for anybody from Chrysler ever, because of how many brands he's ran. So, sad to see him go, but I wish him the best of luck. Hopefully we get to see him at some car events in Detroit still. And I just thought it was time to jump on here and talk about it. It's huge news. It's a huge loss for people that are huge Mopar fans, diehard Mopar fans, because a lot of these people that are diehard muscle car guys, not even muscle car guys, but just car fanatics that work in the company are leaving. And they're hiring software people because, yeah, I don't have to go through more details on that. So anyways, stay tuned. This weekend I'll be attending Stellantis Cars and Coffee event in Auburn Hills. So I'll get some footage of that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.